Well, hello there. Greetings, friends. It's your pal Lou Pickney with you here. NashvilleLou Live is on the air. May 19th, 2023. Today I'm playing the game Warsaken Blitz. A fun new card game. Blitz is the simplified version of Warsaken. So there'll be cards with a lot of details on them that won't apply to Blitz per se. There are some different categories that are very important. And like it is with a lot of games, the easiest way for me to teach somebody how to play Warsaken Blitz, this is beta mode of it, but the easiest way for me to teach someone is to have them just watch me play a few times and explain what I'm doing, and it starts to make sense pretty quickly. So hopefully the auto matchmaker will cooperate. The way it works in Warsaken Blitz, you have 65 cards you start with. One card is your leader card. 4 cards are your territories. So 1 leader, 4 territories that are laid out to begin with. Each side has a deck of 60. And within those, there are different categories. You get your buildings, intel, force, morale, weather, and WMD. Those are the 6. With a force card, by playing 3 of a kind of a force, and typically you can have as few as 3 of any one card in your deck, but you're going to want to have groups of 4 because you want to make a set of 3. That's how you're able to play a trio of cards in Warsaken Blitz. If you only have 2 of the same, you can't execute the command with it, and it can be pretty important. WMD takes out 2 of your opponent's territories, but you can only use 1 WMD per match. Force takes out a territory. Also, Force is the card, or I say card as if it's singular, but it's the trio of cards you play that activates and that takes out your enemy, and that's how you win the game. Or one of 3 ways, really. You can have your morale taken down to 0. I still look at it as if morale is mostly a tactic that's going to be a lot more of a focus for the full Warsaken game versus Blitz mode, to the point I don't have any morale in my decks. And me putting that out there with a live stream, like, this is just something I'm playing for fun for now. And I'm not sure if a delay would work anyway, but people will figure it out eventually, and here we go. Ivanov123.gm is my opponent. Ivanov123. All right. So it gives you an option. I'm going with this for sure. No building cards. I don't like having building cards early because that helps you resurrect from your discard pile and essentially takes up space early, so I'm going to keep that. This is huge. I mentioned the WMDs. See the 4 territories over there? 4 territories for me. I'm going to be, if I could roll at least a 3 on my first turn, I'll play that trio of white phosphorus bombs. I know the red one looks different. It's 1 of 10, or actually 1 of 4, I should say. Very rare. So while it doesn't match, it's a cool card to have here. Oh, but this is going to match up for my opponent, a trio of force cards. And again, for the purposes of Warsaken Blitz, the specifics on the card aren't important. I make sure I got that song attribution link posted there in chat. All right. My game audio muted? No, it's just low. Or maybe I'm just... Well, I don't know. I don't want to have the audio too loud either. See, I'm not hearing anything. This is the app version of Warsaken, I should note. I'm not getting anything from this audio, so that's not good. Okay, I'll have to worry about that later, I guess. At least with the cards, it's fairly straightforward. Okay, I'll roll to 5, so I can play this 3 of a kind here, the WMD. Take out 2 of the territories. And again, with Blitz mode, it doesn't matter as much with the morales. Most you'll have opponents that'll have morales of 3 or maybe 4. There's a standalone. There's one card that has a -1 morale. This one right here, the Vast Hinterland. So I have 2 more actions I can take when you roll the die, 1 through 6. So kind of a hodgepodge of options here. I'll go ahead and play 1 each. Normally I wouldn't just throw out 1 standoff cards like this, or one-off cards like this to standalones, but a couple of weathers out there like that. Maybe I'll catch some on the next draw. I've still got a couple of spots open. This is Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou, live here on a Friday afternoon Nashville time. It's already Saturday for a lot of you. So you notice your opponent's turn when you see the blue dot over their icon. And I use an overlay in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen for this, but that's my information there, just my logo, my Wax account, and then it comes up with some little clever, a little subheader that they switch up every time. But it's the easiest spot I can put it to not get in the way. So that's where it goes. So it's my opponent's turn. We'll be waiting. It's a roll of 3. So you roll 3, you get 3 actions for the turn, and you draw that many number of cards that you rolled. So that roll the die can impact things a lot. So 3 actions here. They drew in 3 cards, so we'll see what they have to play. A couple of force cards there, and then another weather card. So they got 2 of that 1 weather up there. It looks like it matches, but it's different decks with the one that I have here. Just a roll of 1. Okay. I've got 2 of a kind with a scent architectural plant, so that's an option, but then I'm just filling up space. And I wouldn't have 3 of a kind anyway with that. So for now, even though I have an action I could use, I'm going to end my turn. Make sure you don't hit end game. It's rather close to buttons, but it's end turn. So you don't have to use every action. Keeping those 4 spots, like it's a calculated risk putting it out there like that. A little bit different here, just rolling 1. But if you roll a 3 and you end up with 3 of a kind in your hand, you could play it that turn if you got an open spot. 2. Okay, well I'll go ahead and put out the pair of scent architectural plans. Looking at settings here. Yep. The music you're hearing is something that I'm streaming. And music attribution, NashvilleLou.com/music for all song attribution. Oh, card sounds. Well, that's why they make weird, like the cards talk to you and stuff. Which, okay. We'll put this away for now. Two more actions for my opponent here. See, they've opened a spot. You have an option with your action. You can pull a card off the board. So that's interesting. Pulling up 1 and then laying down another makes me wonder what might await me on that side. 6. So 6 cards coming in. All right. So the Scent I'm going to have some fun with this. The Scent Architectural Plan. Architectural Plan. It's an intel card. That's what matters. The little print on the card there isn't important for the purposes of Warsaken Blitz. I'm going to bounce 3 cards from the Legion up here that are on the board, ready to go. We'll send the agent packing. As for one of Cyrus, and we'll get rid of one of those weathers as well. So I still have 5 more actions I can take this turn. A little bit of a challenge because I have 2 spots open. I'm not going to use all. I'm going to use, well, I think only 2 of those actions. And I'll use a pair of force cards here, the Romans prototype. And while I could play a card in that 4th spot, it's like, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. This is something where I've got to be more attentive. I got the fire in the field, so I can play that as well. There's two of a kind with that out there. And even though I have 2 actions left, I want to keep that spot there open. Well, no, don't end game, end turn. At least the color's different, where it's red. Like, whoa, are you sure you want to do that? Are you really sure? This is Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou live, broadcasting here on Twitch. 4 actions to go for my opponent. I was able to play a WMD right out of the gate, taking out 2 of my opponent's 4 territories. 2 remain. Here we go, Intel. Some of my stuff's going to get targeted. This is where I'm fortunate that I wasn't sitting on 3 of a kind in my hand. Unless I misread that, or was that not what I thought it was? One thing with doing a live broadcast, live stream, it's easy to challenge trying to keep track of multiple things at once. Give me just 1 second, please. My next broadcast here on NashvilleLou here on Twitch is most likely, unless something surprising happens, do a surprise live stream. Probably be Saturday night Nashville time, 0100 UTC. May 21st, the start of the Trans-American Titans regional tournament to get into the Blockchain Brawlers May tournament. Okay, I only have 1 that I can play here. I was thinking maybe, did I misread what was played there? Maybe they used, was it a building they played there to get cards back from their discard pile? Okay, well, there's really nothing I can do but get in my own way down here. I could pull up that 1 weather card, but there's no real purpose. With 1, anyway, so. As long as you have that 1 spot open, you can do some business, as it were. If you can get the right trio of cards and you get enough actions for your turn to be able to make it happen. My opponent rolled a 2. Well, when you use an intel card on an opponent and then they use a building card to resurrect, you know that you might be seeing something come back around that you just got rid of. Here's 6 that I rolled. All right, and there's a slider here. It's kind of tough to see. One of the few suggestions I have for the game makers is to make this more evident. Okay, well, I can use the intel again. I can wipe all those off the board. And I still have 3 more that I can play for the round. Generally, my rule is to play weathers first if I'm going to for that round, but I don't have any for the fire in the fields, anything to match that. And you can go and play all 3 at once, or your maximum as far as your available actions for that turn by hitting the red there, as opposed to hitting play. Save some time. They've got 19 cards. I could try to make them discard something, but they get to pick the discards. So I don't think that's going to be very much in my favor. Let's bounce the 3 that are on the board right now. So the weathers and the force are going to get the heave-ho. It's cooler with the sound. I'm not sure why the sound isn't coming through here. That's one thing I probably should have played a test match before I streamed, but I didn't want to wait too long. Okay, well, I can play a second Blinding Sandstorm since I already have this one on the board. All right, so while I do have 2 actions remaining, I'll opt to pass on those, end the turn. And those don't bank, those don't carry over. But I think keeping that 4th spot open has value. Speaking of value, 6. Bunch of cards. There for my opponent. Uh-oh, WMD. I'm going to be down to 1 territory. Things can change quickly, and Warsaken Blitz. The numbers you see on the medals there, that represents your morale. But again, that very seldom has come into play thus far in most of my matches here in Warsaken Blitz. It usually comes down to who clears the opponent's territories first and compromises their leader. I have lost before once by having my the deck of cards you draw from wound down to 0. That's known as the arsenal in this game. And when it's your opponent's turn, one thing that makes Warsaken Blitz very nice for live streaming is that you can take a couple of moments to chat with people while it's your opponent's turn. And while it's a good idea to keep a track of what's going on, it will let you know when it's your turn. 2. Okay, well, I can play the fire in the field. While the terrifying storm cards are dancing, I'll have to see how the next roll goes to see if I'll do back-to-back weathers. So while I could take an additional 3 actions here, the better play is to take the extra turn to get the... Now, there's a risk it's going to be lower than a 3 that I roll. That's part of the risk. But I'm also getting cards matching the number on the die as well, which is a huge part of it. One more action this turn. I can go and play the first of the 3 terrifying storms, hoping that I roll at least a 2 next time. There's a 1 in 6 chance that I won't. 2. Well, you don't get to play 4 of a kind in this game, but I've got 1 on the board. We'll play 2 more, and I'll get yet another turn. It's like wishing for more wishes, sort of. 6. All right. So I can play the building cards potentially and bring some cards back from the trash heap, from the discard pile. I wouldn't play the Romans prototype. That'll take my opponent down to 1 territory remaining. It's a G-Force card, but that doesn't matter for the purposes of Blitz. This kind of looks cool. So take out that 3rd territory. It's down to 1. So I've got 5 more actions I can take for the turn. I can use the guard tower. Let's see. I could bring back the Romans. I could actually bring back weathers. But I wouldn't be able to use them this turn. And that would be kind of... I don't know. I think I'm going to go for the Romans. And this, you could return 6 to your arsenal. If somebody gets... Because you're down to 0 cards in your arsenal. At that point, your leader becomes compromised and be taken out by just 1 force. So return 3 to the hand. You get to pick them. So I have played a lot of weathers already. Go ahead and bring back the Romans prototype. Now, I could go and play 2 of those right now, but my opponent knows that I just pulled those out of the discard pile, which might make it a target. I'm going to actually do something maybe a little bit different and play a pair of soldiers' barracks here. If those get targeted, that's okay. I only have 2 of them anyway. And now it's my opponent's turn. So I'll be able to play the Romans prototype next turn if I roll at least a 3. And I'll take out my last opponent territory, and they'll be down to a compromised leader. If I get at least 1 John Rider on my draw for the next round, or a dropship, and I roll at least a 4, I would be in a position to win the match, but that might not matter here. Oh, there's a force to take out my last territory. If there's a 3-of-a-kind force my opponent's sitting on, I'm going to lose it right here. That might be what we're up against. They have 3 more actions to take, and if it's a trio of force cards that match, uh-oh. That's it. Hello. All right. Good game. Ivanov, 1, 2, 3. Playing some Warsaken Blitz, just going through and with random matchup mode. I was able to test out, and I greatly appreciate everybody that helped me out the other day. Last time I streamed Warsaken Blitz, testing out the play with viewers. I keep wanting to call it an app, but it's not. It's an extension. So that worked out well. And for this broadcast, testing out, seeing how well it goes with the auto matchmaking system. This is a relatively new addition to the game. And hopefully I didn't wait until too late in the day to get going on this, but this isn't going to be a terribly long stream anyway. And I only had some time to open up the, okay, here's my window. Like, it's tough for me with the names because, like, I see, like, there's, I'm not sure if it's pronounced, like, is it Nathacga or is it Nath ACGA? It's tough to tell when the letters are together like that, but thank you. Thank you for visiting the stream here. It's a little bit different for me with this compared with blockchain brawlers, because with brawlers, I broadcast on a 90-second delay. I don't use a delay for Warsaken Blitz. And that could put me at a disadvantage, but that's okay. I mean, I greatly prefer to be able to react more in real time with people that I can. There's a lot easier of a discourse that way. I'm a pretty fast typer, but when it comes to maintaining a conversation in the midst of a fast-paced game, it can be difficult. Actually, I wonder if I can figure out why the audio. Let me jump back out of this. Actually, I'm going to bring up the full screen here for a second. I'm going to try something here on my end, because I'm not sure why it's doing that. Why it seems like it's muted. Maybe it's a setting thing. Yeah, I just downloaded the app today, and I could, I guess, open up Chrome and play it that way. I think it's worth it for the audio. I may actually do that. Now, this, at the moment, won't mean anything to you, the viewer, per se, since I run my audio. I mean, obviously the game audio comes through it. I have a separate computer for it. My OBS Studio with the, what is it? The music. Yeah, the Warsaken music. Easy enough there. I've got that as a separate thing in OBS Studio so I can control that. Make sure there's not sort of digital rights management issues or any copyright issues. I'll want full clearances. And luckily it works very well within Google Chrome. Warsaken. Like, I just loaded up Chrome and then boom, there it is right there. Thank you for the raid. But rain. It wasn't autocorrect. I don't know how I got that. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good game. And for the purposes of this broadcast, this stream today, I'm really hoping to test out this auto matchmaker. That's how we got matched up before. It's helpful to have codes when the time is right, when the time comes for giveaways and such. I want to make sure I'm ready. And so a lot of this is a learning experience, some trial and error to it, but a lot less on the error side. And a lot of this, once you have it set up, and once you can figure out some of the quirks of OBS Studio, it's not that difficult to switch over. So it's interesting to see the different strategies that people use. I have had at least one opponent who used the morale-based attack on me, and they were successful. They beat me with that. The one time I had my arsenal targeted, I was able to play a building card and protect it, and I believe I won that one. Just using the traditional going after your opponent's territories approach. And have all sorts of ideas for when it's easier for people to set up a wax account. I think a lot of these games from a live streaming standpoint are going to really add on as far as the fun factor goes, especially with giveaways and things to welcome new players, that sort of thing. And so I want to be ready for whenever that point hits. I mean, onboarding is going to be a challenging thing, and I'm glad I don't have to worry about having to figure that out per se, But it's interesting to me, just after spending many, many years working in the broadcasting business, trying new different types of things from a broadcasting standpoint appeals to me. I mean, I've written countless newscasts. I mean, they all run together after a while, going back a long time. So when you get something new, although newscasts, no two newscasts are ever the same, which is actually why I stayed in that business, that crazy business, as long as I did, because it is... it's the fastest 8-hour shift I've ever worked. Put it like that. Okay, I've got a pair of Control the Messengers. Nothing else matches. How many building cards to kind of clog things up? Let's see, a couple of forces. I've won each of the WMDs. I'm going to try a mulligan here. Let's see what happens. Okay. So slightly worse off on it, but no building cards in the way. And that's part of the chance you take doing it this way. A second mulligan, there's a lot of mystery to it. But let's see what happens. I almost never do it that way. My opponent gets to go first, so I got 2 building cards. Not what I wanted, but I do have a pair of force cards there with a D24I, and I realize those cards look different, but for the purposes of Warsaken Blitz, they're the same. 5. All right, so I've got some options. I'm going to hold on to the WMDs that I've got 2 of. I'll play the John Riders. Okay. Now it's got to be something on my end. If this isn't giving me audio, I know it's not supposed to be muted here, so I don't... Yeah, I'll worry about that later after it's my turn. Let's see. And we'll put out the D24I. I'll put out 1 assassination attempt. That's a cool looking card there. Not so cool for the guy that just got tagged with a shot, though. And now it's my opponent's turn. This is Warsaken Blitz NashvilleLou Live. So 3 actions to go here for my opponent. It's got to be something to do with OBS Studio, because at first I had trouble getting the video pulled up. Always something. But at least now I've got enough experience dealing with this stuff where I know when there's a problem, okay, it's probably one of these things. Makes for a quicker diagnosis. It's just a roll of 1 there, so only 1 card. At least I can play that second assassination attempt, but you need 3 of them to actually make a play. With an intel card, you can clear 3 of your opponent's cards. You can choose which ones you want to target off the board. This is going to beat me to the punch here. This intel, I'll probably take out 1 each of them. Nope. Taking out my intel, and then one of my 2 ships there. I'll still have the other one. There's a pair of force cards there. And with 2 actions on the board, they'll pass it to me. All right, the building card lets me bring stuff back from the pile over here, so I could bring those in, but I don't know. I'll go ahead and do that. And again, if your arsenal, if your deck is running low, a building can really save the day. I haven't had that happen as much in Blitz, but it did happen one time. It made the difference in the match for me. Hitting the red lets you bring back both of them, so I don't have to spend as much time on it. It makes it just a little bit easier, a little bit faster, which is a good thing. 2 more actions I can take here. The assassination attempts back out. Saying, aha. And now it's my opponent's turn. Oh. Yep, we're going to have 3 of a kind there with a WMD. So, Anik, I guess you're playing against me here? Is that your... Because I don't know everybody's name matched up with their Wax account address. Just rolled a 1. Oof. And I don't want to fill up that 4th spot unnecessarily. Oh, still there. I got the second D24. Oh, I guess I can throw that one back out there. Undid the damage done by the intel. Okay, yeah, so Anik 420X confirms my opponent. And again, if you don't have an overlay on your screen, you're looking at this normally, I would, at the bottom left there's my logo from Twitch, and then my account wallet info. I have done prize giveaways for other games in the past. I'm not today, but I hope to soon. I can play the assassination attempt here, but there's only, well, you know what? I can go ahead and I will do that. I can take out 1 each of those, and I might need to do that here. Because if they start comboing weather cards, I could be in for a hard time. But I'll take out the forces. Leave 1 of the weathers. Thank you. Thank you. Talking about prizes and giveaways. Yeah, I would love to have some stuff for giveaways. But right now, I've been trying to, I want to learn the game and make sure I understand it and make sure I can figure, right now, for this is a problem on my end, why there's not any in-game audio. So with the force, I get to eliminate 1 of my opponent's territories. We'll take out Bankare Island. And that's in part, I'm really for today, this is going to be the longest stream. I'll intend it to be, probably, you know, my opponent rolled a 6. This match might not last much longer, depending on what happens here. But I've got all sorts of ideas, and I think it'd be so much fun. I like being able to stream live without any sort of a delay. That's a major positive. And while tactically it would put me at a disadvantage for somebody watching my stream, I mean, to me, it's worth it to get to try it this way. I wish the audio was, and there's no way for me to, I don't believe right now, fix it because it's something where I would have to reset OBS Studio. OBS Studio and it goes back and forth. I mean, I'm worried about my broadcasting situation. And that force right there is 2 of them. If a 3rd drops, I'm done, but that's... Okay, there's only 2 played there. And then a different force card set there. My turn. 6. Okay, I've got the intel I can play here, but I'm really up against it. Unfortunately for me, I have only finite number of options. So I can go ahead and do a little bit of clearing here with this intel at least. Okay, yeah, there is in-game audio. Yes, there is. It just, this is, I've had it for past broadcasts. Just for this one today, it was my first time I was trying the app, and I couldn't get it to work. And it has nothing to do with the app. It has everything to do with my recording setup. I use a different computer. Let me look at this before I'm going to take out, well, we'll just take out one of those. And then we'll go one each. Go that way with it. Like, especially, I want to make sure I have everything figured out from a procedure standpoint. Like, if I'm doing giveaways, especially if I'm giving away stuff that other people are giving to me to give away, I want to use as much care as possible. All right, well, tough spot here. I want to play a WMD. I've got 2 of each, so putting anything out there now, it's risky. Almost like playing a weather card here. I can play 2 of them. If I get another turn, I might need to use this. And then one more I can play. I mean, just because I might be in a spot where it's like I'm needing those extra potential cards from a roll, although I don't know if this necessarily is the best approach. I'm still learning strategy for this game as it is. While I've owned cards here in Warsaken on wax here for a while, I'm very new to playing Blitz. Want to get through the NFL draft season, made it to this point here, made it to May. Got through my broadcasting commitments for Swanee Tigers men's lacrosse. Don't have to worry about like agitating my voice before a big broadcast. Trying to catch up here in chat. Evelyn V, thank you for the follow. Mama Moofin, thank you. Compliment on the voice. Let's see, here's a 1. All right. I mean, I'm really up against it. Because the problem is, having 2 each of the WMDs really doesn't help me. If I get 1 of each, I can only play 1 set of it. I don't know. I'm on borrowed time as it is with 0 territories, with a compromised leader. Let's see. I've got spots up there, so... I mean, this is probably going to be futile anyway. I'll go ahead and put a captured leader out there just to put something out there, but I don't like my chances. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate everybody in the Warsaken Discord. Very friendly, very welcoming. And there is in-game audio. It's great. It's just, again, it's my broadcasting setup for today, and it's a reflection of me. For as many years as I spent in broadcasting, okay, it was 6 here. Okay, I'm still in a spot where I can't play a WMD because I only have 2 of each still. A building card's not going to help me to that end. I can play, well, I can play the forces here. The forces let me take out one of my opponent's territories. Take out St. Purcell Harbor. This is the second match of the stream, or the third. It starts to run together after a while. I think the second. 3 more to go here for this. It is the second. Okay. Well, I almost think I'm better off putting the WMGs out there. I don't think I'm going to get another turn. Or, let me see. One weak spot of mine I've found is I don't always check properly when it comes to seeing what's on the board before I figure out what to do with the rest of my hand. Really, really tight spot here with that. I'm going to play the pair of WMGs, or W1MGs. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll recall the John Ryder. Or will I? Recall the Terrifying Storm. I don't know. Again, I'm not wanting to be somebody that's trying to, like, so expert at strategy. I'm still trying to learn You know, when in this situation, do X, Y, or Z. It's my second match of the stream. And the more I do this, and here we go, it's going to be 3 forces. I mean, I knew it was a matter of time. I really got a turn or two extra than I might have deserved there. Sometimes you'll have that, but it wasn't enough. Strong performance, good game. All right, so good game there. Like, I know that when I get to the point where I want to have streaming where I do giveaways on more than just like where it's a few people watching, where you get that larger, I want to make sure I've got it where I make sure I'm not missing out any names or any addresses. I want to make sure people get what I promised. Under promise, over deliver. That's my hope with this. And to have fun with it. Yeah, it was intense. And these are mostly stacked the same. Just kind of giving you a variety of the different cards that I have. So I'm just going with the auto matchmaking mode for this broadcast. That's really what I'm testing out for this, is seeing how well will this function just when it's doing the auto matchmake. Because I know that's a relatively new thing here for Warsaken Blitz, but it's a big positive. It takes out that little extra barrier to entry. If somebody's like brand new to it, or maybe they're not going to... I think Discord ends up at times being a hindrance when it comes to getting people that have never experienced it before on board. As far as like if you have to go there to make a match with somebody that's brand new to it might not, for whatever reason, want to or know to or figure it out. And it makes it easier if you can just click and open the game and then hopefully have it match up sooner as opposed to later. All right, here we go. A4JRQ. Well, thank you very much. Is it you pronounce it Muffin or is it Mama Muffin? I never want to make fun of anybody's name or mispronounce it. Certainly not intentionally. All right, so interesting choice here. I don't normally like going with 2 building cards in my first 8 if I can help it, but I've got a pair of matches with 2 others, 2 forces that match up with the Terrifying Storm and the S21-R. So I'll keep that. Some of these very rare cards that I have, the blood foils, I got those like early days when people, I don't think, realized what they had. They were just opening packs, just putting stuff out there, and there was no set rate, and people just kind of, I think in a lot of cases, lowballed themselves. I thought they were good bargains. Once I figured out what Warsaken, the level of depth that this game was going to offer, I was like, wow, I want to check this out. And I love with Warsaken Blitz that you can learn the game and the various elements without having to know the little intricate details on every card, because that can be overwhelming. All right, so 2. All right, I'll play the S21Rs. And it's what you roll on the die there. That's the number of actions you get for the turn. 6. The name that gets complicated. I don't want anyone to ever think that I've slided them or anything like that. I know from many years of sports broadcasting, sensitivities to people's names, making sure I get them right as much as possible. Okay. So I'll play the pair of drop ships and the pair of terrifying storms. That's the drop ship's a force, which is the important part as far as Warsaken Blitz goes. Terrifying storm's a weather. Those weather cards give you that extra turn, or you can get 3 actions to your current turn. Normally, I think your better play is to take the extra roll because you get the number of cards that match the die, but there are certain situations where having that 3 guaranteed actions, if that's all you need to play one last force or whatever, that could potentially be a winner for you. All right, so a lot of stuff out there staring me down at WMD. 2. This is why the negative of having too many building cards early is that if you don't have any way to play them, you're just stuck. Stale product. Okay, so I'm going to actually just end the turn. I'm going to keep that fourth spot open. I'm not sure if that really is the best approach with this. And there are clearly times where I've taken a chance and filled up that fourth spot, but I really think keeping that open is a pretty smart way to go about it, I think. But again, I'm going to be playing against people, I'm guessing, by and large, that have played this a lot more than me. Which is fine. Way to learn. Appreciate the follow there. Rusky music. The way I've been doing this, for this stream, I've just been testing out the auto matchmaking mode. So when this match is over, if you just want to be on standby and see if you can jump in on that. Because that's something else I want to test as well, how quickly we can get that as for a turnaround standpoint. Okay, you know what I can do here? Play the Terrifying Storm. Get an extra turn. I've got 5 that I can use here. Building cards. I keep resurrecting weather, so that becomes very quickly counterproductive. I mean, see, look how many buildings I've got. So I think I will bring back the buildings, or the weather, but I won't play the weather this turn. You get the option if you need to load up your arsenal, if your discard pile is high late. Because if your arsenal hits 0, that's when one of those 3 situations where your leader becomes compromised. That, you hit 0 morale, all your territories all get taken out, and you just hit the red button here, lets you get all 3 at once, saves you a couple of clicks, which is nice. 2 more actions I can take for this round. What do I have out there? Okay, I've got 2 spots open. I'll play a pair of Z27 Tigers. I'll wait for the moment. As far as the weathers. Roll again. 4. Let's see what I get. Okay, well, we'll use the weathers. And this is where you can get either the +3 actions for this turn. But instead, I'll get the extra turn. You can go on a bit of a roll with this. Okay, I've got... Okay, I'll end the round here because I've got another roll, or end the turn. 1. All right. So I could play an intel here, but I'm going to hold that, I think, and wait for the next round. Keep that 4th spot open. I might get smacked pretty hard here, depending on what my opponent draws, but I had 3 rolls in a row. Good times have to come to an end eventually. It's Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou live. Interesting, the recall there. Somebody pulling their WMDs out of harm's way, huh? I'll go ahead and play the stolen blueprints. And while I don't take out the WMDs, I'm going to be able to bounce. Horse card. Oh, wait, I missed... Oh, no, okay. Wait. Bounce. There we go. All right. So neither of us have taken out a territory out of the other. Roll a 6. This could be trouble for me here. Let's see. Does that roll a 6 mean 6 cards coming in along with the 6 actions? There's the intel. Oh, they're going after the arsenal here. Isn't that interesting? I mentioned it before, the arsenal-based attack. 1 of 3 choices. If your arsenal gets down to 0, if that compromised leader extra roll for the trio of weather cards there for my opponent. And there's a trio of force cards. It'll take out my first territory. And then a weather card. Now it's my turn again. 5. All right, well, I can play a WMD. Let's see what I have out there. Do I have anything that would give me 3 of a kind? Like the Z. Z's 27 Tiger. I mean, it doesn't matter as far as the sequence, which one goes first, as long as you make sure to choose the right one. I'll play the WMD, take out 2 of the 4 territories. Hey, what just happened there? All of them. All right. You see, it's -6 morale. If I were going on a morale-based attack, that's what, down to 6? Oh, no, if that were 12. I was looking at that number there on the discard pile, not the morale. Never mind me. Like I said, still learning. All right, but the WMD takes out 2 of the territories, and you can only play 1 WMD per match in Warsaken Blitz. They are down to 8 morale, so it wasn't without merit what I said, but this is not a morale-based deck. Play the Z27 Tiger. That's going to take out one of the 2 remaining. It's the vast hinterland. And Mount Uptania. And for anybody that's getting started in Warsaken and want to play Blitz, go for those territories that have low at -3 or -1 for hinterland, as far as the morale hit you take if they get knocked out. That's really the only specific that matters as far as the details with the cards. Okay, there's some risk putting out a blinding sandstorm if there's an intel play that could knock it out, but I'm going to take that chance with my final action of the turn. Now it's my enemy's turn. He's actually played the weather there. Are you saying you shouldn't have put out the 1 weather? You may be right. I mean, maybe that was a bad idea. Well, we'll see. If I roll at least a 2 here, I can play the weather. 3. Now the intel card's down there. Play the weather. I mean, generally, when in doubt in Warsaken Blitz, I found playing the weather is going to be a smart move. Although that's certainly not a blanket statement. Was it me? I just heard the... It sounded like I heard the card noise there, which is odd if I heard anything. It could be just a coincidence. Maybe something in the music. One more action if I want to take it for this turn. I could put out one of the 3 intel cards. I mean, I could use a building card, go hunting back. And actually, I might do that with a building card. Or no, let's see. Because I need 2 more sets of forces to win the match. That's really all I need. I can put out a building card if it gets taken out by an intel. I have 3 more, so it's... I can take that hit. Oh, I get to go again. I should really keep better track of these things. 6.